Good morning. This is your morning view and newspaper review on the Morning Dew, and we are here on Cactv to make sure that you have all the latest news making news headline around the globe. I am Modot Dominic.
And I'm Dapo Loroto. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Ginola. Good morning, Modot.
Good morning.
You are looking good this morning.
And your white is sparkling. Thank you so much. Ginola.
Good morning, Nigerians. As usual, my name is Oladipo.
So this one you decide to do a touch of what I'm wearing today. What's the secret behind it?
He's envious of your color. He wants to become young.
Everything's no, I'm too old to do.
All right, thank you. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take the review and then the quote of the day. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Back. The quote for the day is from the book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 4. It says, "Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart desires." Take delight in the Lord, not in yourself, not in your education, not in your career, not in your wife, not in your husband, not in children, but delight in the Lord, because that is where all certainty are, achievable. Everything that may be your heart desire can only come from the Lord. By strength, the Bible says, shall no man prevail. So I want you to be at peace and take so much delight in the Lord, and not even in the news of the day, because as we see, very soon we'll be unveiling stories and all of that. I doubt if there is much good news to share at all. But be that it may, the delight that can keep you fresh and young, keep you safe and sound, is in the Lord, and that I recommend for you today, tomorrow, and forever. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Bishop, for that amazing quote, and I hope that lifts your spirit as much as it does to mine. Okay, quickly, we'll take a review of the news that we have for you today. So we're starting with the Punch as usual, and the first story that we have says Tinubu reviews document as CBN investigator submits interim report. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has said the federal government will soon unveil the audit report to probe of the Central Bank of Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu on July 28, 2023, named a former Chief Executive Officer of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Jim Obasi, as the special investigator for CBN. The president asked the special investigator to probe the CBN and key government business entities, adding that the investigator would report directly to the president's office. However, the SGF said on Monday that the probe report of the CBN, when made public, would reveal how poor governance brought the country to the present predicament, I beg to say. Okay, so that's the first story that we have, and I think this, for me, is a good step that the president has taken so far, making sure that our financial report is being put in order and things are done decently. By asking, having a special investigator reporting directly to the president's office. In fact, that's good news, because now we know that, okay, we are holding somebody accountable, because if there is an accountability for every step, then we know that, okay, we're paying attention to the necessary things. Okay, so Alaji, or Engineer Ola, aka like we used to call you. So what's your take on this?
Well, thank God somebody is doing something. But as the habit of Nigerians, when you see democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, and we are now saying poor governance, by whom? by the people. Poor governance for the people, by the people. That is democracy. You know, we every day live in Nigeria, we see something like this that will stipulate that, we are going to probe this situation, and at the end of the probe, what do we see? I'm asking you, at the end of the probe, what do we see in Nigeria? There have been various probes in the country, and we have not seen anything positive from the end result. Let's await what is going to be the.
Of course, the
result of this probe.
We're positively waiting and hoping that this will make a change.
If we are going to apply corrective measures on the probe, let us wait and see. I can be able to tell you, without seeing the probe that is going on now, or that has expired now, that without seeing that probe report, I can tell you that so many Nigerians have siphoned billions of naira for the central bank, and they want to see what is going to happen. This thing has happened before in Russia and all other countries in the world. What they do is that they will call them, negotiate with them, return the money, and leave the country. Because if you are still in the country, you have to influence bad political movement.
Of course.
When you have too much rich people in the country, you can't govern them. A poor man cannot govern a rich man. It is impossible. So you have to apply what is being done outside this country, in the West. That if you, for example, in China, what they were doing in the earlier days in China is that if you are caught and you are serving the government, first they will kill you. Your daughter will become a prostitute in the federal government hotels, and your children will become slaves. So you know they have bastardized your family, and that would be a very great lesson for the family to learn. But in Nigeria today, we can just hear about probe. Somebody has taken over 300 billion naira, then they will go to court. They will give him 2 years. They will give him 2 years. If you continue doing such a thing, somebody will siphon huge amount of money, foreign currencies in this country, and we are in poverty. Workers cannot earn their salaries because people are embezzling money. So I just believe that this new government will sit very tight on the probe and give us a very conclusive result on the probe. I want to see when there's a crime, there is punishment. There's a book by Raskolnikov from Russia. He said the man who committed murder on principle. When there's crime, there must be punishment. Now this probe is to expose criminals, and then there must be adequate punishment. That's what we are awaiting. That's my take on that.
All right, we're positively expecting that this investigative measures put in place would yield good results. So, Bishop.
You see, on my side here, I will just speak a little to what the SGF called, you know, that it is the situation of the time that made the country to be what it is today, you know, the poor governance of the thing. I think it's an indictment on the APC-led government. Or maybe they forget that it's the continuity of the previous government that brought them in power. Because if the SGF is saying that it is the previous government, that is his predecessor, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, that made the country what it is. He is saying that the APC government has bastardized the country. What I understand from this report is that APC government are not doing any better. Country. So I don't know whom they are trying to now nail, if it is still their own government. And you see, we expect more than a probe. That is what we must get straight. We expect more than a probe. Tell us that so and so has been found guilty and has been charged to court, and court has given adequate punishment, a judgment. Stephanie, not that you just want us to talk on things you already know what to figure out. You know, these are political motivated probes. It's not as if they have it's in the interest of the people. No, it is on the ground of, oh, it didn't support my ambition. Oh, we didn't do well in, so we'll investigate him. That's all we are trying to paint here. So for me, I think they should do more than just bringing us a notice of proof.
Well, for me, I just hope that this is not just words as usual, that as much as they are saying this, they also bring it to an effective conclusion, and we see results for whatever it is. Okay, so going to the next story that we have, this says Tinubu begs U.S. court not to release privileged documents. President Bola Tinubu on Monday pleaded with a United States District Judge, Nancy Maldonado, to order Chicago State University to protect its privileged information such as admission records, transcripts, and gender, and release only a certificate to the legal team of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. The motion was filed by the president's lawyer, Christopher Carmichael, who stressed that the most critical fact has already been clearly and unequivocally established by Tinubu L. Matters. The Punch earlier reported that Atiku had secured an order from a U.S. magistrate, Jeffrey Gilbert, for CSU to make Tinubu's academy record available to his legal team. The document sought by Atiku through his counsel, Angela Leos, include the record of Tinubu's admission and acceptance at CSU, dates of attendance, degree, awards, and honors attained by the former governor of Lagos State at the university, amongst others. So that's the second story that we have. And my question is, why exactly is he begging for just a release of his certificate? Okay, you see, is there more to his academy that we don't know?
There's every law in every country. We have laws of protection. In America, they have what they call family educational protection law and act. No, this is not the first time somebody in the position of power is coming up for interrogation, for investigation, on educational background. The same thing happened to Obama. The same thing was between Donald Trump and Bush. You understand? In America, there is a law, it's an act that protects that. Okay, I do not want you to release my educational information to this person. You know, it's there. Okay. That is on one angle. Another angle is that Nigeria will have our own legal law. If you now bring your report from America, Nigerian judiciary, you have to file in your application, and they have the prerogative to say, we want to admit it, we don't want to admit it, it is late or it's not late. So you see, this thing, we can't be able to say anything tangible now because it is very dicey. Because let's look at it from another school of thought, politically. You know, they are not going to the extreme, saying to deter my opponent, not my enemy, my opponent. See my opponent as my enemy. If I have the quality of a ruler in me, and I know I can rule, and I know that God has the quality of a ruler in him, I know he can rule, and I'm saying that, oh, negatively, that we cannot rule this country because this and this and this and that. As the matter is in court, whatever is seeking for is in court in America. They have their laws in America. The judge may say no, because the fact of the case is that what you want to know about it, did they attend this school? Yes. Did they graduate at this particular year? Yes. You want to know more information about the educational background. America has a law, and the law stipulates that, oh, there's a family protection law and that. Okay. So contrary to that law, you are seeking for what is outside the law. But I'm not a judge. I don't have to judge. American judge will judge if they have to give it to Atiku or not. That is number one. Number two is that the Nigerian judiciary too, the Supreme Court will now sit. They will decide if you have to accept this or not. So, you know, we can't say anything now until when the matter has been resolved in the court. That is when we can be able to have a final conclusion on this particular matter. But my stake on it is that, well, whatever happens, let it be favorable to we Nigerians. Because now, drastically, because of Nigerian situation now, we need good governance. We need good government. We need people who are in the high power to govern very, very well.
for me, I believe attention has been divided, because now our president is literally battling with too many things right now. He's battling with the field matter, he's battling with the educational sector, and he's also having to deal with this back and forth matter going on in the court as it stands. So if there was to be anything different that he was supposed to do, or anything he could do, what do you think that would be, if you were to give him an advice from your own end?
Well, for me, I think this matter is so absurd to have ended up in U.S. courts, because that means that U.S. courts, they are not only earning through our economy, they are feeding on our error, and that's a shame that we could push a matter so sensitive like this to the West. Well, and the matter is so simple. Did you go to school? Yes, I did. This is my certificate. I think that's what the president ought to have done. He shouldn't have allowed this matter get to the point where the entire states of US had to withhold and say it's something, and now it's going through the court to say don't release this or release that. Why not by your own self publish your information? This is my track record, this is my qualifications, this is how
what it should be,
and let the matter rest. You understand? So I don't know what we stand to gain from this, to say sit him as the president or whatever, because he is playing to the hands of the Atiku. That's why I see it. Because you could have stopped all of this by just publishing this information, releasing it to the public. You are a public figure. You are the #1 citizen of the nation.
And clarity is expected.
And if you want to bet a transparent nation, you should take the lead. Be transparent yourself, so other
can follow suit.
Can emulate such, and then we can have a very same environment. You are not just a president, you are a role model, and from him we expect absolute transparency. Nothing should be short of it. Absolute. So I rest my case.
All right, thank you for resting your case at that point. Okay, we'll take a look at the next story, and this says Senate screens CBN Governor Cardoso deputies today. The Senate will today, which being Tuesday, screen the acting governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Olayemi Cardoso, for confirmation into a substantive capacity alongside 4 nominees for the position of the CBN deputy governors to steer affairs of the Apex Bank in the next 5 years. The Red Chamber, which is returning from its 2-month annual vacation, has also scheduled the screening of 2 additional ministerials, nominees by the President Bola Tinubu for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. The media office of the Senate leader, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, disclosed this in a statement on Monday evening. While the National Assembly was on break, the president appointed the duo of Dr. Jamila Ibrahim and Ayodele Olawande as Minister of Youth and Minister of State for Youth, respectively. Okay, so that's the next story that we have. So, Engineer, over to you.
I have said it severally that the government should try to operate background check up in the House of the Senate, background check up, that you'll be able to know the background, where this guy is coming from. That is, so that you avoid getting a man of no consequence, a man who have no future, no president, no past. Not until when you screen him and become a senator, that somebody will come out and say, oh, this man is a murderer. This is what you have to do before he becomes a senator. It's a good thing they want to screen. But all those people that have been screened, at the end of the day, what is the performance? So,
and I really believe that screening was supposed to be the first thing they do before even putting one into position. And that's why we keep having this back and forth, just as the Atiku Abubakar is taking the president to court because there's no clarity on whether certificate or no certificate. Because if the screening was the first thing that was done, we won't be having issues like this, I guess.
If the INEC has done their background screening, background check-up on a candidate, okay, let's do background check-up on this candidate. Somebody who is going to represent my people, my community. Let's know his background. Maybe when he was in the secondary school, he was an armed robber.
How well he was doing and what he was doing.
We don't know all this until when you become a senator. Somebody will now come back with an old record that this guy was an armed robber. He murdered my father. He took away all our monies, and now he's a senator. He's a senator in Nigeria. There's no way I can fight him back. So that's why I support the background check-up. For screening. All
right, quickly let's take a look at the last story that we have from the Punch newspaper before we move further. Okay, so we have labor accuses FG of delay NLC ESCO meetings today. The Nigerian Labour Congress has accused the federal government of delaying the negotiation on post-subsidy palliatives for workers 4 months after the removal of the fuel subsidy, which has compounded the hardship in the country. In response to the perceived lethargy of the government, the organized labor will on Tuesday hold an emergency National Executive Council meeting where it will take decision on the next step. Okay, so I don't think there is much to talk about on this because we've been going back and forth on this same issue of labor accusing the federal government of delaying response, and the federal government is not even ready to do anything as regards that. Okay, so we move to the next story, and this says 2 children electrocuted, Lagos mother hospitalized. Okay, a yet to be identified mother in the in Mushin area of Lagos State is currently battling for her life after losing 2 of her children to electrocution on Thursday. According to the sources in the area, the children, a girl aged 10 and a boy aged 7, were electrocuted when they attempted to turn on the television after returning from school. Punch Metro gathered from the source in the area that the parents, who were speculated to have been away or out or inside the room when the incident occurred, or learning the fate of the children, were thrown into despair, with the mother fainting and currently battling for her life after being hospitalized. Okay, she also added, I heard that it was after school on Thursday, the girl was trying to turn on the television from the socket when she got electrocuted. Without even knowing that, or knowing what had happened to his older sister, the younger boy went to church. He also was electrocuted. So further of that story you can find on the Punch newspaper. But this is really so sad that we are having cases like this. And what happened? Because I know that TV is not one of the things that can just shock like that. It doesn't just happen like that. So that means is either there is a naked wire connected, and this parents, we need to always pay attention to some certain things, because there are some things we can't take for granted. We can't just overlook it. I have a friend of mine that when you go to a house, you see wires scattered everywhere, and I'm wondering what is happening here. He say, hey, that's how they've been doing it. My husband do connect this. I say, there are ways to do these things. That is why you see some electricians, when they come to connect for you, there's a pipe that they put in making sure that those wires, exactly, so they are put in order, and then you just have people live their life carelessly, because I feel this is out of carelessness. So Bishop, what do you have to say to this?
Well, it's sad that the parents had to risk the life of innocent children
for that matter
in this manner, and it's a wake-up call for people who are taking for granted, putting house in order, making sure that having a major priority in the area of electrifying your rate people are living carelessly. That's one of the things poverty do to people. People tend to not prioritize good meal. People tend not to value having a very organized house. Poverty can cause people to just risk everything. So people, their fan, it is the naked cable that they just used to,
If it's naked cable is good. They're a friend of mine.
So you can imagine those kind of
yes,
lifestyle, and you are there raising a child. The children can even use a stool, and stand up and then try to on the fan, and then from that act, cause a major chaos for the family. So what I would say is,
yes, sorry, and welcome back from that break. Quickly, we'll take the last story that we have, and this is the latest story for the day, and it's quite sad that we are having stories like this. So let me dive right in. Mayhem in Shagamu, bloodthirsty cultists engage in deadly clashes. Resident lives in fear. The atmosphere in Shagamu town has been tense lately due to the clashes by rival cult group, causing residents to live in a perpetual fear. Bankole Taiwo writes, the incident cult clash within Shagamu, the headquarters of Shagamu local government area of Ogun State, with the attendant loss of lives, is already becoming a source of worry and frustration to the residents of the town, who felt that the government and the security force have to be more decisive in curtailing this ugly incident. Between January and September, Shagamu has reportedly recorded at least 4 bloody cult clashes, during which about 30 souls perished. That's so sad. In March, the governor of the state, Dapo Abiodun, directed the state commissioner of police to police the commander of 35 artillery brigade and the director department of state State Service to relocate their operations to the Shagamu area of the state and apprehend those involved in the recent cult activities in the town. This is also quite sad that, and this is not the first time we're hearing about this Shagamu cult issue, and I'm still asking, why does it get to a point like this where lives and souls are being lost for things that they don't know? And these are masses. A lot of the lives who are lost are masses who do not even have an idea, who are not even part of these people. And then we have law enforcement. These have been happening before, as according to what the story says. So what have they been doing? What are the officers? What have they been doing? And the clips, you can imagine, you see the gathering that we have there, and cases like this have been going on. What exactly have they been putting in place? So let me come to you, Engineer Ola.
Well, you see, one thing I have to say is this. You know, cultism started from school. Though cult, from our forefathers in age, we met it in the world that, okay, they have different types of cult. Oro cult, Egungun cult, masquerade cult, and all the rest. But when this thing was given back to in schools, among the students, and this is the result we are seeing today because we are unable to address this issue. I could remember when Obasanjo was Nigerian military head of state, the students came out to fight for the increment in the school fees. They came out to fight against it. That was during the time of Ali Mongo. That is, Ali must go. Ali was the minister of education. Because that they said, no, we don't have student unionism in our universities. You have to go back to Nigeria. So it is high time the government will now look into it in our schools, even from primary schools, secondary schools. They have court members in secondary schools.
Of course.
If we don't curb it, this is what is going to happen. This is what we are seeing now. Any little thing, because there's a fight between two of them, maybe over a girl or over any matter, then they start killing themselves. It will escalate. There's so much rely on local juju that is not effective on them at all. Some of them will lose their lives. Their parents will send them to school to get education so that they can get a gainful employment to assist yourself in the society. But what is the eventual result?
Okay. So do you think that orientation is one of the things that we need to put in place to make sure that we can handle this situation?
Mostly from the parents at home. I can tell you that, okay, I went to University of Benin with a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, went to see his son. The wife fainted because he realized that this guy is now smoking in their name. This guy before he left home, he was a very, very gentle boy. Decent. Hardly he can talk. And when we went to Benin and saw this by the university, he was among these Indian smokers. So how do you reconcile this? We have a lot to do on our students. That when you become a graduate, you go out there. Now, one thing the trend in Nigeria today is that when they graduate, either they become a gangster or they say, okay, I'm a musician. And this is a very, very sad thing in the government now. Every day, not only in Shagam, it's all over Nigeria. They say some boys are A-year boys, some are this, some are that. And when they meet, they clash. It will become bloody and they kill each other. So it's high time the military has to look into this. The military, not the police. I don't think the police...
Yes, because they need tough hands.
They need tough hands. The military have to roll out the equipment and say, okay, no to cultism in schools. No to cultism in Nigeria. So when they say this, and it's a war against cultism in Nigeria, like the war they are fighting against Boko Haram, because one thing leads to another. The beginning of these marauders, all these scavengers on the road, they are from these boys. At the tender age, they join court, and it's very difficult to take him away. Like look at the same thing happens. Look at the death of Mohbad that everybody is crying now. It is a bat from this particular situation.
Bad influence.
Bad influence. In America, they call it gangster for life. The same thing is coming to Nigeria gradually. If you don't do anything now, it will explode. It's a kind of bomb. Gangster for life. That's what they say in America. Now what do we say in Nigeria? Cultism for life or what? So and the government has to look into this.
And I think the guidance also have a lot of work to do. Parents, we all need to sit up. We are all not getting it right at some point, and we need to pay attention to this. So, Bishop, what's your take?
You see, the role of government is key as far as curbing this is concerned. I remember we had the mission trip to Cotonou, and the place was so orderly. The people were law-abiding. Everybody was at peace. Everybody was minding their own business. There is no legalism or of any sort, no toggery. So we were forced to ask the people, how come? Are there no street boys? They say, there's nothing like that here. There is no street boy. There is no toggery. If you try it, you never come out of jail.
That is the law.
That is a country that wants, a very organized and sane environment. But here, reverse is the case. Because politicians will use them.
They do things and go scot-free.
Wait. So how would you curb people you use at every 4 years? I don't understand. That is the reason why these people exist. That's why gun is on the rampage. Because politicians are the ones empowering them. For crying out loud. Have you forgotten a story at Kwara Ofa where there were these thieves caught on CCTV camera who killed virtually everybody in the bank, and they were traceable to be aid to the then Senate president. Were you not in this country at the time?
It's so
it's crazy to imagine why we have such a beautiful country but bad leadership. This is what it has brought on us. It's unfortunate.
And it's really so sad because
everything does at the table of the government. They can make this country great. You see, all this menace is because they want it. They want us to be in chaos. They want these things to remain, because it will be a distraction for the people to look into the economy and ask questions.
Honestly.
So when the community is in disarray and everybody's not at peace, nobody will ask any question about what's happening with the economy.
Distraction.
Oh,
distraction. That is the word.
Honestly,
distraction.
It's sad.
It's just so sad that the masses, those who do not even know anything about these things, have fallen victim of it and are still falling victim of this day in and day out. And I really, really, really hope that the government will come into this and do the needful. And then parents, we on the other hand, the ones we can do, let's do it. Let's put our children in the right path. Let's teach them the right path. Let's teach them the right moral, because it is what you embed in the life of a child. That's what the child goes out with. Okay, no matter how the child miss it, somehow he will always remember that, oh, my mom used to say this, my dad used to say this. So it is very important. All right, on this note, we would go on a break, and when we come back, we have our sports analyst in the house. Yes, we have adopted him to be our sports analyst. So Shagun White is in the house and is going to lead us or take us into the world of sports. So we'll go on a break and we'll be right back. Please stay tuned and keep watching CAC TV.
ojú ọ̀run ṣú dẹ̀dẹ̀ẹ̀dẹ̀ àmì mi pológbè káńgẹ́lì gbé iye ọmọ àyè abiyamọ tọ̀ ìtọ́ díkínẹ́sì ẹ́sítà ọlá ìyá òbíṣẹ̀sán gbé ọmọ adédọ̀tún gẹ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ ìmáyé olódùmọ̀rì lọ́rin ọdún 74 years. Tọ́ọ̀sì ọ̀rọ̀ ìjọ kejìdínlọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kẹsí ọdún ní. Lòkú ọkọ̀ olúlu Èkó Àsùlù gbàrà odò Èkìtì. Ní pásítọ̀ Òbíṣẹ̀sán compound kéèlì pọ́pọ̀nà olú láwẹ̀ lúlu gbàrà odò Èkìtì. Kọ́báyá di Friday ìjọ kọkàndínlọ́gbọ̀n láigo mẹ́sìn òyì ìrọ̀nà àti òkúlí títẹ̀ ẹ̀yẹ. Títí aago mẹ́rin ìrọ̀lẹ́ kàrìsùn orin olùgbàgbọ́ á bẹ̀rẹ̀. Àjọ tó dẹgbẹjọ oṣù kẹsàn ọdún káyé alágo mẹ́jọ òyì ìrọ̀. Níbi kan tí a ṣèṣin kẹyìn akọ. Kàndé amẹ́rírú eriru méyẹ̀pẹ̀ yẹ̀. Kùsì ìjáde òkú àrẹ̀ ayé ní CAC òkè òṣèlú. Lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ ní ijó ọmọ sílí bímọ ní pápá òṣèré community grammar school. Pọ́pọ̀nà láwẹ̀ olùgbàrà odò Èkó. Ọmọdé kọ́ ní bá ìjọ ni kọ́ nìyẹn ìjọ nìyẹn. Ebi Òbíṣẹ̀sán àtẹ́bí Adédọ̀tún ní ìṣù kéde. Ojú ọ̀run ṣú dẹ̀dẹ̀ẹ̀dẹ̀ àmì mi pológbè káńgẹ́lì gbé iye ọmọ àyè. Abiyamọ tọ̀ ìtọ́ díkínẹ́sì ẹ́sítà ọlá ìyá Òbíṣẹ̀sán gbé ọmọ Adédọ̀tún gẹ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ ìmáyé olódùmọ̀rì lọ́rin ọdún 74 years. Kòkòrò ọmọjà gbádùn obì kò gbó kẹ́kẹ́ o.
Yes, welcome back and thanks for staying tuned to your Cactv. This is where we bring to you news making headlines around the globe and we bring it to you back to back, hot. And right now we have a sport analyst in the house and he's going to take us into the world of sport. Let me see if I can do that for a moment. Okay, so drum rolling, whoo, boom.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Shegun White. Yes, on your screen this morning, sports bringing for you from the world of sports. And what we have here is PSG chairman has come out to defend the reason why they did not celebrate Messi's World Cup victory. The Paris Saint-Germain chairman Nasser El Khelaifi addressed recent statements by Lionel Messi regarding the club's acknowledgement of his World Cup victory with Argentina last year. Messi had expressed disappointment in PSG not recognizing his triumph, to which Al Khelaifi responded, stating that the club did celebrate Messi privately and during training. Wow, that's interesting. He emphasized the sensitivity of the celebrating at the stadium due to being a French club and the need to respect France, whom Argentina defeated in the World Cup. So it goes to show that the celebration was not done publicly because of the things surrounding it. And also we have a contrasting fortune for Nigerian striker and for Boniface, for Nigerian striker Victor Boniface, and also for Victor Osimhen. Funny enough, both of them are bearing Victor. Okay, so Nigerian football striker Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen are experiencing different strokes to their trajectory in their respective leagues. Boniface shines in the 2023-2024 opening season, while Victor Osimhen is still finding his balance, even being the talk of the town, the rage of the moment in the last season, in the last Serie A season. Also, our own UFC former UFC fighter Israel Adesanya is facing legal actions for drunk driving incident. Is facing this in New Zealand after pleading guilty to drunk driving charges. Adesanya admitted to driving under the influence, having exceeded the legal alcohol limit in his blood system. The incident occurred on August 19, 3 weeks prior to his recent UFC fight. Adesanya expressed remorse for his actions, apologizing to the community and acknowledging the gravity of his decision to drive under the influence. Also, our sportsmen, young people who are participating in the Nigerian youth games in Asaba going on right now in Delta State have raised complaint about the inadequate accommodation and poor feeding arrangements, which is disturbing images which surface on social media just recently, depicting teenage athletes sleeping on substandard mattresses in overcrowded halls.
Imagine that.
Athletes resulting to using their bags as makeshift pillows and clothes as curtain to enhance their sleeping condition. It's really sad. We just hope that the Nigerian Football Federation, Nigerian Sports Authority, the Nigerian Sport Minister would find something to do to this. I want to believe there are better preparation for the youth games that is going on. And also today we have matches coming up.
I think it's also sorry to cut you. I think it's always seeming like we don't have plans in as far as Nigeria is concerned. We just do things just happen like we don't have plan for it. I'm sure that this game they are playing right now was not something they just woke up to. It is something they've planned before, and so why wasn't logistics put in place? Why do we have this? Because this is not the first time they are having this
talent in this country.
Honestly, and that's why the moment they have an opportunity to elope to another club, they do that without looking back. Because when they were there, you didn't treat them well. They weren't welcome. They weren't properly treated. So I think they need the Football Federation need to pay attention to this. They need to make sure that this is taken care of. Okay,
so away from that, let's move on to the matches happening today for all the football lovers. EFL, the EFL is back today, and we're having a third round happening today and also tomorrow. Salford City is taking on Burnley. Exeter City is taking on Luton Town. Ipswich Town is taking on Wolves, and Mansfield is taking on Peterborough. Bradford City will take on Middlesbrough. Port Vale will take on Sutton United, and Manchester United will be taking on Crystal Palace. And tomorrow, Liverpool will be at home, but with Leicester City. Blackburn Rovers will be playing Cardiff City at home. Lincoln City will also be playing against West Ham, while Chelsea will be playing with Brighton. I just hope Chelsea is going to give a smile. We're going to put a smile on the face of their fans this time around, because their opponent this time around is Brighton, and Brighton is on the top notch right now.
Don't worry,
Brighton is on fire.
They will make us proud.
Oh,
I trust my people. They'll make us proud.
So Bournemouth is taking on Stoke City. Brentford will be taking on Arsenal, the Gunners, and also Aston Villa will be taking on Everton. Fulham will be taking on Norwich City, Newcastle, and Manchester City. I just hope they survive. And that's it for sport on the Morning Dew this morning. Enjoy the rest of the day. Modot.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Morning Dew. It's always a pleasure to have you, because the sport is always one interesting part that I know that a lot of my viewers are always waiting to hear what is up next today. Yeah, so that is how far we can go on today's Morning Dew and newspaper review. Thank you so much for always staying tuned, for being a part of our segment today. So feel free, like I always say, to join us on all our social media handles. Follow us, like, share, and then drop your comments and the things that you want us you really want to see. And then for advert placement, your church coverage and all of that, we got you covered. Trust me when I say we got you covered. Okay, so on this note, I sign out and I remain Modot Dominic, and together we say, be Nigeria, bye Nigeria. Have a blessed day ahead.
Tọ́ọ̀sì ọ̀rẹ́jọ́ kejìdínlọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kẹsí ọdún ní òkú ọkọ̀ olúlu èkó àsùlù gbàrà odò èkìtì ní pásítọ̀ òbíṣẹ̀sán compound kéyìí pọ́pọ̀nà olùláwẹ̀ lúlù gbàrà odò èkìtì. Kọ́fáyà di Friday ìjọ kọkàndínlọ́gbọ̀n láigo mẹ́sìn òyìnrọ̀nà àti òkú ní títẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀. Títí aago mẹ́rin ìrọ̀lẹ́ kàrìsì orin olùgbàgbọ́ á bẹ̀rẹ̀. Àjọ tó dẹgbẹjọ oṣù kẹsàn ọdún káyé alágo mẹ́jọ òyìnrọ̀. Níbi kan tí a ṣì sìn kẹ́yìn akọ. Kọ́ndé amẹ́rírú eríru méyẹ̀pẹ̀ yẹ̀pẹ̀. Kùsì ìjáde òkú àrẹ̀ ayéli CAC òkè òṣèlú. Lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ ní ijó ọmọ sílí bímọ ní pápá òṣèré community grammar school. Pọ́pọ̀nà láwẹ̀ olùgbàrà odò èkó. Àwọn ọmọdé kọ́ ní bá ìjọ ni kọ́ nìyẹn ìjọ nìyẹn. Ebi Òbíṣẹ̀sán àtẹ́bí Adédọ̀tún ní ìṣù kéde. Ojú ọ̀run ṣú dẹ̀dẹ̀ẹ̀dẹ̀ àmì mípùlùgbè káńgẹ́lì gbé iye ọmọ àyè. Abiyamọ tọ̀ ìtọ́ díkínẹ̀sì Esther Ọlá ìyá Òbíṣẹ̀sán gbé. Ọmọ Adédọ̀tún